I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I'm on a real non-fiction kick at the moment. I started the month with my TBR of 5 or 6 books that I plan to read this month. I've read, I think, 3 of them, which is not bad, but I have just been distracted by other things. I read one non-fiction book and it leads me to like 5 more non-fiction books, so I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Book Time with Elvis, with me, Mark. And I hope ever so much you're all doing very well. And once again, of course, let me take this opportunity to thank my wonderful patrons for their support. It's much appreciated, and I think it's going well over there. I have some nice um, posts and things that I've been able to put up and share. So if you want to see them, if you would be interested in joining, the link is down below. And I think it's not too bad. You can try it for a week and see if you like it. And if you don't, you don't. No hard feelings. So I want to just talk about a book that I finished, which was a wonderful book, actually. In the last video I made talking about 2 non-fiction recommendations, both were had some extremely difficult themes, and this one to some degree as well is no different. But it's where it does differ is I suppose in the fact that it looks at the lives of 3 pioneers, really, 3 journalists, female journalists, and the book is called You Don't Belong Here by Elizabeth Becker. It's an extremely compelling and illuminating. Is there a word for 3 instead of dual? Triple, I suppose, triple biography that kind of gives overviews of lives and experiences of 3 extremely courageous and, as I say, pioneering female war correspondents who cover, in terms of the book, it primarily focuses on Vietnam and Cambodia, a place, of course, Elizabeth Becker herself has extensive experience when she was one of 3 journalists that was actually allowed in under the Khmer Rouge, and ended up having some interview with Pol Pot. And she was in a very precarious situation. In fact, one of her colleagues ended up being killed, and she actually knew some of the women correspondents that she writes about. You're probably asking who they are. Well, the book really entwines the stories of Australian journalist, or New Zealand Australian journalist Kate Webb, French photojournalist Catherine Leroy, and American, well, I don't like to say necessarily socialite turned journalist, but she did come from an extremely privileged background. But of course, that doesn't really have any bearing, I suppose, other than the fact that it might have been difficult for her initially to be taken seriously. And that's Frances Fitzgerald, known as Frankie to her friends. And the book really provides a unique perspective on the challenges faced by these women in, of course, and it's a similar and unfortunately true, I don't know if trope can be the word, but situation when they're struggling to kind of find recognition and to be taken seriously in a predominantly male-dominated field. Becker really explores the journeys those 3 courageous women have to undertake, as I say, to be taken seriously, but also to just get on with their jobs, because it's a terrible, terrible situation. And I don't pretend to know a lot about the conflicts in Indochina, or the former Indochina, especially Vietnam and Cambodia. But it seems extremely fascinating, but also terrifying. Becker offers really a deep insight into, as I say, the motivations, struggles, and achievements of those women. She looks at their personal lives as well as their professional accomplishments. She also draws on her own personal experiences, at least with Kate Webb, for example. She conducts interviews and interviews Frankie, Frances Fitzgerald, who is, of course, the only one of the three ladies who are still alive. But she conducts really wonderful, I suppose, interviews with people who knew all three of those women, and also goes into the stories behind, well, in Leroy's case, the photographs that she publishes, and then, of course, the books and articles and things published by Fitzgerald and Webb as well. There's a lot of research gone into the book, but it reads extremely well. There's nothing heavy about it other than, of course, the experiences. Some of the experiences faced by those women are heavy in an emotional sense, but not in a technical or reading sense. So I think it's a real testament when writing, I suppose, biography or a memoir or any non-fiction, when you can really make it a page turner. And I think Becker is extremely successful in that field. Throughout the book, she addresses the complexities that these journalists face, the dangers of navigating through war zones, of course, the preconceived notions of gender roles. And it really is a wonderful, You Don't Belong Here really is a wonderful tribute to the resilience of these women, and as trailblazers, really. I mean, of course, there were female war correspondents prior to these three, but these three really do have a dramatic impact, I think, on the future of women's roles within war zones. And that's it, really. Other than I heartily recommend it to you. I think you'll find it fascinating, and not just looking at the lives of the three women, but also some background and information pertaining to this really quite horrific and ultimately and sadly pointless conflict. So there we go. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do take care, everybody, and if you do end up reading it, or if you've read it before, do let me know in the comments below. Take care. Bye bye.